First Alert Weather Extra, views from the storms. We've got some new images to share with you as those strong, intense storms have been packing a punch today across west central and east Alabama.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts with breaking news.
And that breaking news, the First Alert Weather Day continuing for the higher heat index, but those storms really showing up a bit sooner today, helping us out.
Oh yeah, major heat relief, but those were some strong storms.
They were.
The lightning's intense.
You almost have to figure, yeah, makes sense. It's been so hot and humid outside.
Yeah.
Of course the lightning would be a nuisance.
I just asked, I went in and checked some of the data and posed some of the queries in there. How many lightning strikes do we have this week in the state of Alabama? Okay. 63,000 lightning strikes in the state this week. So just unbelievable. And that's why today, I mean, coming off of a heat wave like this, the lightning's just intense. And hopefully everybody's okay. We don't have any lightning strike damage out there because it was popping today across the area. Let's go over right now and show you what's happening. And really the storm's taking a lot of that energy out of the air. The heat wave's breaking down for now, and that's what happens a lot of times here in Alabama in the summer. We just see that heat. It builds and it builds, and then the bubble just pops, and you get those storms. Now tomorrow, it's still going to be hot and steamy, but as we heat up, the temperatures won't have a chance to get out of hand tomorrow because storms will be likely. So be ready tomorrow. It's all going to start firing up again later in the day. AccuTrack radar at the moment, we got some leftover rain to the north, but you can clearly see where we've had storms showing 70s in Aniana, Gadsden, Pell City showing 86, but it's I believe that temperature there is coming in a little too hot. We've already had some rain. We've been able to rebound in the temperatures in Birmingham because we had a storm earlier, but a major improvement over what we were dealing with earlier today. And actually, this is what we're going to be seeing for high temperatures, a very similar temperature pattern Sunday and Monday of next week. Now, where it is quite steamy, we're still seeing those extreme heat index levels. We're getting some intense storms down into Hale County. Tall storms out there. Some of these today over 40,000 foot tops on these things. Lightning, that storm is non-severe, but it's borderline. It's producing some heavy rain, over 90 lightning strikes over towards Hogglesville. Mountville, you can see we've got some lightning in the vicinity, but the more intense part of this has now crossed Highway 69. This is tracking in towards southern Bibb and Perry County. And just some scattered pop-ups, but still need to watch it to the south and southeast over towards Lay Lake, Clanton. Down in this area, it's quite unstable, so that could set off a more intense storm as well. So we'll watch those areas closely. And even north of Gadsden, north of Noccalula Falls, nice little downpour. Not seeing lightning at the moment, but stay alert just in case we do have a pop-up. But the model's doing a real good job. This is brand new data, forecast radar data, and you can see there's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock tonight. So this is sort of on that downward trend. We're already seeing it for this evening if you have some plans tonight. Lows in the 70s out there, but again, be ready for tomorrow. More afternoon storms, and we've got heat levels backing off for this weekend. We're going to be talking about some cooler temperatures, highs in the 80s, and your First Alert meteorologist, Tania Michelle, will be taking a closer look at those temperatures in the 80s and looking ahead beyond the 7-day. That's all coming up. But first, your Lauren Linehan with some new video of today's storms.
Yeah, Wes, we kept saying those storms were packing quite a punch. A couple of viewers actually sharing their views of the afternoon storms. Lori Evans says it was pouring in Garden City today. She took this photo in Huntsville looking towards that rainstorm. You can see that rain shaft in the background. And wow, this picture in from McCalla, he says it was looking toward Birmingham when the storm was over. Thanks to Scott, one of our viewers, for sending that in. And we had an active storm roll through here at the news station around 2 p.m. We sent a crew to Homewood where that fast, hard rain made the roads pretty wet. You can see drivers turning into ponding water. Just remember, slow down and never drive through floodwaters. And we know you're ready for a break from the storms and the heat. So your meteorologist, Tania Michelle, taking you beyond the 7-day with what's next. Hopefully some relief, Tania, maybe?
Yeah, Lauren, that's exactly what everybody wants, and I think we're going to get it. But beyond the 7-day, well, it looks like we switch right back to our normal, typical Alabama summer heat. We're talking about above average temperatures as we approach August 8th through August 14th, and we're not the only ones going to be dealing with some hotter conditions into the middle of August. I mean, much of the nation dealing with above average temperatures. This is our temperature outlook about 6 to 10 days out from now. So again, this is beyond that 7-day forecast, but just giving you a glimpse of what you can expect. Expect it to get hot very quickly. So enjoy those 80s while we have them as we close out the weekend and into early next week. As far as precipitation, August 6th through August 10th, we look at a mix across the nation. We're seeing some above average rainfall for the East Coast, the Pacific Northwest dealing with above average rainfall. Looks like the Midwest and areas further to the west like Albuquerque, New Mexico, parts of Nevada, and over there towards Denver, Colorado, Arizona. Nothing new for them, below average rainfall. They're very dry parts of our nation, including parts of Texas, dealing with more drier conditions as we approach August 6th to the 10th. But what about us here at home? Well, we're going to see more rainfall. So hold on to the umbrella and rain jacket. More than likely your typical summertime afternoon showers and thunderstorms. We'll let you know if anything changes though. Again, that's that beyond the 7-day forecast. Things can and possibly will change, but we'll keep you updated right here on First Weather Extra. Lauren?
Well, new tonight on First Alert Weather Extra, your meteorologist Megan Thomas taking you to the farm to learn about which plants and veggies have also been struggling in the summer heat. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
All right, welcome back in, and time to check in with our First Alert weather watchers and some of the rainfall totals out there today. You can see a lot of us picking up almost a half-inch of rain. That 1-inch total coming from John King and Alabaster, a lot of that happened late last night when those storms moved through Shelby County, but 0.6 of an inch Pell City, 0.29 of an inch from Oxford, Jerry Peak checking in. A lot of us hearing the rumbles, maybe not quite as much rainfall, but the lightning, it has been intense with those storms. Watch it tomorrow because we'll see more of this. Let's talk about Friday, and we're going to see afternoon storms starting to develop by lunchtime. I know Mickey was tracking some of that wet weather as early as midday, and we're going to see those storms popping up again during the afternoon. Let's go ahead and show you some forecast data. We'll walk through this 24-hour forecast data. We're going beyond the next 6 hours. Here's tomorrow. There's a look at let's take it into the early morning hours here, and we'll bring in some brand new data I just got in, and this is forecast radar for tomorrow. And there's a look at let's take it back to try to get this time right on this. We'll take this back to lunchtime. See if we got this got the time right here. There we go. So again, you can see there's a look at midday. And then we take it to 2 o'clock, pop-up storms. There you go, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So again, watch it there for the afternoon as those storms start to increase. But we'll have more on your weekend. How is your garden holding up in this intense heat? Your First Alert meteorologist Megan Thomas taking us to the Jones Valley Teaching Farm tonight.
As you know, we love coming to visit at Jones Valley Teaching Farm, and I'm here with Farmer Jess. And you know, it's been so hot this week. This is our 5th day with a heat advisory, and I'm curious, you know, humans, myself included, suffer when it's hot outside. What sort of vegetable doesn't do well with this heat?
Yeah, so really any plant may feel stress from the heat, and when a plant is stressed out, it's going to be more susceptible to diseases, to insects. So really during that kind of a heat advisory, you want to do your best to decrease the stress of the plant. It's been a particularly bad year for tomatoes.
Okay.
Tomatoes do not like to be super wet, and we had such a wet spring.
Right, May and in June,
yes,
we had record-breaking rain totals around here.
A lot of fungal diseases thrive in wet environments, and tomatoes are so susceptible to fungal diseases. And now it's really hot and dry. And tomatoes, I'm seeing a lot of spider mites on tomatoes, which can cause this kind of crispy, dying foliage here. And like I said, that you know, when the plant is stressed out, it's going to be more susceptible to pests and disease. So bad year for tomatoes.
Bad year for tomatoes, but what's been thriving in this heat?
Yeah, you know, okra does really well in the heat.
We got some over here.
Yeah, you can see this okra plant just thriving here. Really hard to kill okra. Eggplants are doing really well, sweet peppers. It's about the time of year, if you've planted cucumbers or squash, they're on their way out. Powdery mildew is a disease that thrives in really hot environments, and that's something that cucumbers and squash are really susceptible to. So this time of year is really, some of my best advice this time of year is it's time to give up. It's time to let go.
So we've been talking about the vegetables that thrive in this environment, and you know, Jones Valley Teaching Farm is so special, and y'all are going to be doing an event to help expand this place coming up soon.
Yes, absolutely, and not necessarily expanding our place, but expanding access to food and growing across the city of Birmingham. So every year we have this grant program where we give funding to new and emerging community gardens so that they can do similar things to what we do. And so this fundraiser is going to raise money for that grant so that we can continue to build and expand community gardens across the state.
Give me an example of what that would look like.
Yeah, so we have a training program called the Good Community Food Fellowship. Applications open up every year in October, and it's a whole year-long program. So folks that are really interested in growing a garden in their community go through this program, and when they graduate, they can apply to this fund to build a community garden in their neighborhood or expand upon one that already exists. And so over the last 3 years, we've built and expanded 9 community gardens across the state.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where they can find more information, when the event is, and some of the fun things that they'll be able to do at the fundraiser.
Yeah, absolutely. So they can find more information on our website, jvtf.org. The fundraiser is called Roots in the Ground, so if they Google that, they can find it. It's kind of a play on word of Boots in the Ground, the popular line dancing song right now. So we'll have Desi Keith from D2 Line Dancing out here teaching folks how to line dance. And there'll also be a spread from 10 different local chefs in town making a picnic fare. So we encourage folks to bring a blanket and a lawn chair, and we are going to enjoy a meal on the farm together.
With any of the local produce?
Yes, oh, absolutely. Always local produce at Jones Valley. And it's Saturday, September 6th from 4 to 7.
Oh, and hopefully by the time September rolls around, it won't be as hot as it is today. So
Fingers
that
crossed.
is fingers crossed, and hopefully the weather will cooperate.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Farmer Jess.
Yeah,
For your time
thanks,
today.
Megan.
Oh, that was so pleasant there. Well, new tonight on First Alert Weather Extra, your Claire Huddleston speaking today to a Pelham family who has been in Hawaii all week. She talked to them about their experience living through a tsunami warning and an advisory. Martina Winston and her family were there Monday when they learned an earthquake had hit Russia and it caused tsunami wave warnings in Hawaii and in California. Claire asked Winston about her reaction when those sirens went off.
It was really crazy because everyone started to look around, and I've got to give credit to my husband because he started running and picking up things. He had chairs, beach umbrellas, boogie boards, and was running for the streets. He's like, we've got to go. And I really wasn't understanding what was happening. It was kind of crazy because you really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I can't imagine being in a situation like that. Well, the Winston family says they made sure they had food and supplies and that they stayed safe until that advisory was lifted.
New tonight on First Alert Weather Extra, I talked to experts about why you need to leave jellyfish where they are and help protect them. We'll be right back. Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. A couple of weeks ago, a post went viral on the City of Orange Beach's Coastal Resources Facebook page showing that someone had thrown dozens of jellyfish onto some sand dunes. I spoke with a marine biologist who helped us untangle the myths behind the so-called beach nuisance and why we have a responsibility to protect them. During a routine patrol of Orange Beach on an otherwise inconspicuous July day, Environmental Service Technician Melinda McDonald saw an alarming sight away from the water.
I noticed that there were about 50 jellyfish in the sand dunes. They looked like they were fresh, alive, and upon looking more, I noticed that there were footprints going back and forth from the water's edge. So what I can guess is that people were either using nets or buckets to scoop the jellyfish out of the water and placing them in the dunes.
Any beachgoer knows jellyfish routinely wash up on shore, but the jellyfish scattered across the dunes alarmed McDonald.
But when people are taking the jellyfish out of their natural habitat, out of the water, and putting them in the dunes that are 100, 200 feet away from the water's edge, they're going to die. Jellyfish are misconceived as, a menace when in reality they're a giant part of the food chain out there. They are a sea turtle's primary source of food, and it's just a giant food web that if you mess with one thing, it sort of messes with everything else in the chain.
But the displaced jellyfish weren't the only concern. The dunes, a vital feature of the coastal ecosystem, looked vulnerable too.
And those sand dunes are going to be our first line of defense, whether we have storm surge, any type of hurricane, any type of force that comes up the beach. Those sand dunes are like a wall to protect the island. They are a humongous habitat for animals like sand crabs. We have beach mice. We have so many creatures that use that as a nursery. Not only is the dune important, but the vegetation in the dunes, like the sea oats, those roots go down very far, like over 10 feet. And those roots are what roots that dune in to keep it stable. So we don't want anybody to walk in there, trample the grass.
So how can we mindfully coexist with our tentacled sea brethren? McDonald says pay attention to signage and flags up around the water.
Purple flags are for dangerous marine life. The majority of the time that purple flags are flying, it is for jellyfish. So that is like your first alert when you walk onto the beach. You see those purple flags flying and you know, okay, there's something in the water I need to keep an eye out for.
And just know, though the sting may suggest otherwise, jellyfish do not have a personal vendetta against you.
The science behind the way that the jellyfish sting, it's like a spring-loaded gun, basically. And when your skin comes into contact with their tentacle, the gun shoots right into your skin. So it's not like they're seeking you out to sting you.
Still not convinced? McDonald says jellyfish don't even have a brain.
They have no mode of moving towards you or away from you. I always like to tell people jellyfish go with the flow. They are always going to go whatever way the current is running.
Though fluctuations in storm activity and water temperature can determine whether more jellyfish are around or not, McDonald says ultimately their presence is out of our control.
People will ask, when are they leaving? And I don't know. It's up to the jellyfish and the current when they're going to leave. They like it here. We do too.
But hey, even McDonald, who proudly sports a jellyfish tattoo, can admit her inadvertent stings from, the stings from the jellyfish can really pack a punch. She says if you do get stung by a jellyfish though, her recommendation, putting wet sand on the sting. That's her go-to remedy. Wes?
Wet sand. Okay, have to remember that one. Yeah, not a fun experience here, getting stung by a jellyfish. But right now, we've been dealing with some heavy rain, scattered storms, and it's really bringing down all those extreme heat levels. A nice improvement already. Looking at Greensboro to Marion, still a storm there. It's some heavy rain. Also need to watch out around Alexander City for the threat of lightning. But overall, it got really active there for a while. But now that these temperatures are settling down, the storms are also settling down. Tonight by 9 o'clock, later this evening, should be much quieter, and very soon we should be able to drop the first alert weather day. 6 o'clock in the morning, looks like a calm start, but it's going to happen again tomorrow as we heat up. And just before those temperatures get out of hand, storms will start to pop. So watch it later in the day for that threat of cloud-to-ground lightning, some gusty winds, heavy rain. Good thing is the storms won't last too long. They typically, when they develop, they collapse and weaken rather quickly, so it won't be an all-day washout. But tomorrow night, I think a lot of this starts to wind down a little bit sooner during the evening hours, and that's going to allow us to have some nice breaks there with some pleasant conditions later tomorrow night. Saturday still could see a little bit of rain. The deeper moisture moves south. We're going to see a lot of shower and storm activity down into South Alabama, but there's going to be a little axis where we got some drier air trying to move in from the northeast, and it might set off just a few scattered showers there for Saturday. So I did include a medium chance there, as you can see, over central areas, but it's still mostly afternoon development. Plenty of breaks Saturday, highs in the 80s, and then looking ahead to Sunday's rain chance, we see a greater chance for scattered storms and showers off to the west. Still could see some development, but a bit more limited further north and east. But temperatures on Sunday, how about a high of 82 degrees, and there will be plenty of breaks. Overnight lows in the 60s for this time of the year. We will certainly take it, as you can see there, in Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Still 80-degree temperatures for highs. How about that as an August surprise? Overnight lows around 70. Still warm, still sticky, but a nice improvement for this time of the year. Long-range data shows by the end of next week we'll start to see more seasonal heat levels make a return. And we'll be back with one more last check on radar as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra. So
Well, new tonight on First Alert Weather Extra, this duck boat getting a workout in an afternoon storm in
Oh my
Pell
gosh,
City.
I just noticed it.
Look, I mean, just bobbing up and down. Melanie Gravett sharing this video from Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. That storm came through before 7 o'clock last night.
Now that is a duck boat.
Yeah,
You've seen the other models,
Yes.
right? So,
Been on some boats.
and hopefully you were not on the water today when some of these storms were popping because
Yes.
they
Yeah,
were
no.
intense out there.
not a good
In fact, we're trying to follow up on a story right now of a possible home that was struck by lightning, a fire in Blount County. We're trying to confirm that, but that's what we're seeing out there. There's a lot of lightning mostly with these storms, but Lauren, looks like down into Perry County right now, still one storm, but overall settling down.
Yeah, lots of improvement. Still some steady rain from some spots, but
Yeah, it looks like most of the storm activity is south of I-20. So if you live maybe a little closer to I-85, you could be seeing some storms, but otherwise, maybe getting a little bit quieter.
Yeah, a little bit quieter, a little bit cooler. Well, 80s, overnight lows in the
Hey,
60s.
we'll
We'll
take
take
it.
that. Yeah, can't beat that for, come on, August. How about that for a change? We'll see you back here at 9 with updates first at 9.